For today's video, I'll be going through the construction of perpendicular bisector and angle bisector. So I'm using the 2023 N-Level Paper 1 question 12 to go through these two concepts. So before we begin, let's look at what are the tools that we need. We will need a pair of compasses. Alright, we also will need our pencil and as well as our ruler. Okay, so have these ready for the construction of perpendicular bisector first. Alright, so next, we want to make sure that our needle and our pencil tip are at the same level. So once we're done with that, in order for us to construct the perpendicular bisector of CD, we will need to first open up our pair of compasses and place the needle at C. Alright, and next, how far do we open up the compasses to? I would say more than half of CD. So just have a rough look at it, and roughly if it looks beyond halfway line, it should be enough. And next, you need to draw an arc on each side of CD. So you need to draw an arc on this side and need to draw an arc on the other side. You can also run it through like this, it's fine, but I don't think it's necessary. And also there may be too many intersecting lines which may be confusing. Yeah. So therefore, I'm going to proceed to draw an arc on each side of CD. Now, a lot of us will face this issue of wanting to, or rather feeling that when we draw that arc, we feel like the pair of compasses is slipping away from us or that kind of thing, right? So some of us may try to hold the pencil. Please do not do that, because that may introduce some shifting of your pair of compasses. So what you should do actually is to hold the part with the needle strongly and then try to tilt your pair of compasses slightly to go this way. Yeah, you'll find that it will feel stronger. The other advice I'll give you is you may want to shift your paper instead. Alright, so you can do like this, and then you can just shift your paper so that it runs through like this, and then you're done. So next, I'm going to shift the needle to D, to point D, and place it carefully on point D, and then repeat the same thing. So you now have a pair of intersecting arcs. Alright, so next you're going to use your ruler and your pencil to join these two arcs. Alright, and there you go, you have your perpendicular bisector. But in order for me to claim that it is a perpendicular bisector, I need to check whether it is indeed perpendicular and also whether it is a bisector. So let's revisit the idea of bisector. Bisector means basically I'm splitting into two equal parts. So I'm splitting this line segment CD into two equal line segments. So we need to measure it. And also you need to be perpendicular. So what you can do is to place your ruler, right, carefully, and you should get you place it carefully, you should get about 10.7 to 10.8. Alright, let's see. It appears to me on my paper to be a 10.8, and then my perpendicular bisector is at 5.4. So this is indeed two equal line segments, and you can use the ruler marking to check whether it is 90 degrees, or you can take out your protractor to do that, and then you can check that, okay, if my ruler marking is along the bisector line that you just draw, and then the ruler itself is running along CD, so that means this line that you draw is indeed perpendicular to CD. Alright, so once you've done that check and you're convinced that this is a perpendicular bisector, then you want to label this perpendicular bisector that you just draw as part A. So that is all for part A, constructing the perpendicular bisector of CD. Right, next we'll go over the concept of construction of an angle bisector, right? And we're supposed to construct the angle bisector of angle DAB. So angle DAB B is this angle over here, and we'll turn it to face us, alright, so that it's easier for us to construct our arcs and so on. Alright, so next, I'm going to place the needle of the pair of compasses at A. Alright, and we'll open up the compasses to more than halfway again, but in this case, because angle DAB is a rather large obtuse angle, so I'll actually open it to closer to point D over here, and I will mark it with an arc. Alright, don't need to go over it so many times. I'm just trying to make it a little bit darker so that you can see it on the video clearly, and as always, without changing the how wide you open up the compasses to. Likewise, for constructing the perpendicular bisector, you also don't shift the legs of your compasses during the construction. You keep it the same width. Alright, so without adjusting that, we mark another arc. Alright, so sometimes it's easy for us to forget why we do certain arcs here and there. Just remember the purpose of marking these two arcs. So first of all, I place my needle at A, alright, and I mark these two arcs. These two arcs are actually where I'm going to place my needle next. Alright, so I'm going to place a needle here in the first arc that I draw, and I'm going to draw a long enough arc. Alright, I'm going to draw a long enough arc, and you can see over here I have the arc there, and then change my needle over to the other arc that I draw earlier on along AD, and draw another arc, and make sure these two arcs intersect each other over here. And then again, we will join these intersecting arcs to point A. Alright, and that is our angle bisector. So again, to confirm that this is an angle bisector, we will need to measure, and when you bisect an angle means you basically split the angle into two equal smaller angles, right? And then using your protractor, place it carefully, align what you need first before taking measurement, and you can see from here to here it is 130 degrees, and your angle bisector, it is at 65 degrees. So indeed this is an angle bisector, and therefore once we are satisfied that this is correct, then we will mark this with part B. Alright, and that's it for the construction of perpendicular bisector and angle bisector.